So while government, universities and national student funders grapple with how to make tertiary education accessible to all who deserve to be there, one university is being mentioned by students as getting it right. The University of the Western Cape has financially cleared all its students to register for this year. No student will be blocked from registering, even if they have outstanding fees. Spokesperson for UWC, Ghassan Abada, joins us now. Thank you very much for your time. So just explain, UWC is allowing students to register without an upfront registration fee, but it does get added to their account, and by middle April, as I understand, they have to say, okay, this is my plan, this is how I'm going to pay. Just explain it to us.
Yeah, so that's exactly how you've prefaced it. We understand that 2020 with the COVID lockdown was a difficult time for South Africans. Jobs were lost, livelihoods were lost. There are some families where both breadwinners, mom and dad, had lost their income. So on that basis, the university decided to financially clear all students, including those students who have outstanding debt, and especially first years. We realize also that it's quite late in the year to be starting the academic year, and we don't want to lose any more time. So this was a decision made at the beginning of the week on Monday, and also it was based on those kind of humanitarian grounds, you know.
So I understand that senior students who have historic debt, they're also allowed to register, but they have to sign an acknowledgement of debt. So in other words, what you're saying is that you're not saying that students won't have to pay those debts, but you're giving them breathing space to make a plan. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. It's been, as I say again, it's the first time that we're doing online registrations exclusively. Usually we'd have the campus full of students coming to register, and because of that, we decided to take one hurdle out of the way for the time being. The university does have historical debt. If you think about it, we've got 455 million rand outstanding from about 33,000 students. Last year alone, there was 118 million due to the university from about 9,800 students. So the profile of our students is very different to those of most universities. A lot of our students are first-generation students, often very deserving, but not always by the means. So we take cognizance of that. Our fee structure is very different as well. It's in some cases almost half that of other universities, and so we also one of the things that we factored into it is that funding either privately or other funding by government sources has been late this year. So normally that will be covered by registration. But because of the lateness of that funding, we decided to make this move to expedite matters.
All right. What I want to ask you is, I mean, you've just explained that you've got nearly R500 million in debt at the university. So what happens in the middle of April when a student comes to you and says, yes, I know you've allowed me to register free and I have to start making a plan. I actually don't have a plan. I don't know what to do. And what do you do when a senior student with historic debt has signed an acknowledgement of debt and goes, well, actually, I can't pay? Do you then chuck them out?
We don't chuck students out, especially if it's students who are, so there's two types of clearances. There's a financial clearance and then there's the academic clearance. So we've never turned a student away who's academically deserving. We've got special units on campus like our student credit management office who sits down with a student and they deal with it on a case-by-case basis to work out the plan. And you must remember your undergrad, for example, is a 4-year period. And you can make an arrangement with the university to pay off your tuition fees. Last year, for example, we were one of the universities that was in serious trouble with devices and data. And we managed to supply almost 6,000 devices to students, adding it to the account, but at the same time giving them the breathing space to pay it off on a reasonable amount of time, but also fundraising to offset the cost of that device.
So Ghassan, what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of trust between the university management at UWC and the students. I'm wondering, though, is it sustainable, and is it something that could perhaps roll out to other universities? Or is it unique that you think will only work in yours?
Look, I can't speak for other universities because every university has a different profile and has a different set of circumstances. This is going to be a one-off because of the circumstances caused by COVID-19. This isn't a normal set of circumstances. It's not business as usual. We've taken cognizance of all the struggles that our students have been through.
Sorry to jump in, but what I want to know is, you are allowing students to pay it off over time. It does depend on trust and, as you say, getting other funders. Do you think it's sustainable? Because the real fear is if you allow an extension of debt for too long, your university just collapses, or you end up having to take funds from different faculties, such as research, for example, and then collapsing your good name and your reputation.
Yeah, so it wasn't a decision that was taken lightly. Obviously, the so-called bean counters at the university were consulted. It was an executive decision with all the executives and the rector, and it was obviously considered, all the risks were considered, and it's something that we can do this year.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It certainly sounds like a creative and interesting solution that hopefully other universities can consider. Ghassan Abada, spokesperson for UWC, they have financially cleared all students to register, even those who have historic debt. They've extended registration until the 15th of this month for almost all faculties on campus. And thank you very much for your time. And that, of course, is what we need to see more of: creative solutions and building of trust between universities and, of course, the students. So thank you very much for your time, Ghassan. Well, let's now